when you're wasting time on social media is learning all about TikTok and doing silly dances. Well, you could be learning just as much about how to promote a business on TikTok where actually you get paid to do it. So the amount of hours that you watch social media or on social media are those hours that you could be the one putting on social media to grow and build a business. So, there's a lot of things to learn. If you don't learn, if you don't adapt, you die. That's just the way it is.
We help people with ideas get them to revenue.
All right, so welcome back to another podcast here at 52 Lunch. We're going to change the format a little bit, obviously, because Dan got a little bit too busy this afternoon with work that he needed to get finished up. So I will be your host, Peter Drakulich. As always, you guys are fantastic. Today I've got my new camera guy here, Cole D'Onofrio. I got that right. Awesome. So he's in charge of making sure that I look good and that this works out. So today's format's going to be a little different. We get asked a lot of times about a lot of stuff. I'm going to go away from that, and I'm going to start getting some content to you guys about the way you need to be an entrepreneur, or the way you need to have a mental focus so that you can get a product to market. And so let's start with my little notes here, and apologize, I don't have my glasses on, so I'm going to do my best to read my top 10 excuses for not starting a business today. Here we go. Number 1, and there's a drum roll somewhere. Hold on, let's see. Got that? Nope. Anyway, there is a drum roll somewhere, so someone's going to add that in for sound. But look at the number 1 excuse for not starting any business, whether it's a service business or getting a product to market, is it's too risky. And I will agree 100%. But I will also say that without the risk, there's no reward. And you can sit there for the rest of your life and say, I didn't take the risk, or and then regret it. Or you can say, you know what, I tried, but I don't even like the word try. You really have to be committed. If you're going to do it and you're going to take the risk, you got to figure out how to be all in. And that's the best advice I can give you, because if you try to do something, it's, like the little green guy said, there is no try. There's only do or do not. And that's the truest philosophy you can have when you start a business to get into it. Number 2, my family won't let me. And maybe it's not my family won't let me. It's probably more like my family thinks I'm crazy, or my family thinks this is nuts. What do you know about turning an idea into a business, or taking an idea and turning it into a product? Well, I'm going to tell you, most people are not designed to take risks, and that's what you're going to get from people that you are growing up with, because they've done the safe, secure thing. They've raised you. They've made you go to school. They helped you do all the right things. They didn't take a lot of risks. So it's not necessarily your family's fault. I would encourage you to go and look at online. Find people like me. Find entrepreneurs. Find other people that can give you advice. Because at the end of the day, starting a business early on in life is probably the best thing that you could do as a young adult. Now, you may start a business young and in life and fail, because failure is part of starting a business. There is risk in that. But what you really have is you have the ability to learn from failure and still be young enough to get back up on your feet and work out through your failures to find your success. That is it. Once you find your success, you understand what it takes to get there, and you'll never look back. So again, don't blame family, but find people outside your family network that do understand what you're seeing, and get them to either tell you it's not a good idea or help validate that it is a good idea. That would be my recommendation. Number 3, I didn't put this number 1, and I'll tell you why. Number 3, I put down, I don't have the money to start an idea or a product or a business. Okay, I don't think anybody ever does. Anybody that starts a business is always starting from scratch. Now, where do you get the money? Look, it really depends. But you have options, and this is where people are always amazing when they come up with creative solutions, right? So there is credit cards. That's a lot of way people start their businesses. You have to be careful that when you do that, you understand the terms and how to repay that. And I'd recommend, before you start borrowing money on credit cards, that you understand your revenue model pretty quickly. You've got to know how you're going to pay people back, because that's the biggest risk of taking money or borrowing money. Now, the other way is, if you share your idea, and I do talk about friends and family, and I do talk about the people that you just went to either find for mentors or that talk to you about your idea. look at those people could be good partners to help you get started. Where maybe they're going to be owners of this company, and that you guys can grow it together. But it really comes down to being creative. And if you really, really have to, you got to go and find a job that you hate, that pays you well, that gives you time at the end of the day where you can work. What's the saying? You work your 9 to 5 so you can build your job from 7 to midnight. And if that's the case, then that's what you got to do. Go find the job, save your money, start building it towards your future, and chip away at it. The important part is you have to make progress, and there's going to be certain points along the way that you can only do so much by yourself before you have to put some money into to get to that next level, and that's really important. Don't ever be afraid to spend money to advance. And so do what you can, save the money, find the money, borrow the money, and then grow your business. So that's what I have to say about that. All right, let's get into number 4, right? Top excuses of why I'm not starting a business today. Well, I don't have the network, right? So look, at some people are introverted. Some people don't have the ability to go out and network with people. I kind of call bullshit on that, because everybody has a connection, especially these days. Even when you're introverted, you have a connection. You have a group of people that you are associated with and know and trust you. What do you need a network for? Well, look at support, first of all. It's really nice to have people that support your idea and support your passion and want to see you succeed, right? That's the network you'd want to find. If you don't have a network, if you're truly an introvert, well, then look at, there's things that when you have a product and you're bringing it to market, you might be the perfect person to say, look at, I know how to find the data, and I know how to find the research of a product that's going to do phenomenally well on Amazon. And quite frankly, you don't need to talk to anybody, so you don't, just because you don't have a network doesn't mean that you need one, and doesn't mean that you can't find one. So again, that can't be an excuse, because both of those are in your capability to figure out, solve, and move forward. So that just can't be an excuse. All right, number 5. And it goes both ways. I'm too young, or I'm too old to start a business. Look at, you're never too young to start a business, so take that one right out of the equation. If you're young, you should be starting a business. You should be starting a side hustle at a minimum. You should be doing things on the side so that you have multiple streams of revenue, and that is something that I've been saying since I was a kid. When you have multiple streams of revenue, economies don't matter, because you always have something that goes up, you have something that comes down. But the bottom line is you can't rely on just one income to grow as a person, grow as a family, grow as a business. So always look at, what can I do next to have, passive income, investment income, all the different kinds of incomes. And I personally like product income, because products sell all day, all night. When you wake up in the morning, you see that you've got sales. You don't know who stays up that late, but you appreciate that they do. So being too young is not an excuse. Now, being too old, look, we all get to that point where, you've decided that you've been responsible and you're going to do something, but there's just too many ideas that go to the grave. And I'll say this straight out, and it's Sarah Blakely from Spanx that actually is the one who gets credit for it, and I believe her, and I 100% support what she says. Everybody has $1 million idea in them. They just don't execute on it. And so if you're concerned about being too old, then get people around you. Don't let your ideas die. Make it a family venture. Do something that you can support and leave a legacy behind. Because at the end of the day, it would be nice if you take that risk and your product is a really good product that's needed in the market, and eventually it turns into the family business, then you're never too old. That's going to leave a legacy for generations of your family. And that's exactly what we should all be doing. It's no different than putting money into a trust fund. It's no different than leaving wealth behind so that your kids can enjoy it. Leave them a business behind. That should be part of your strategy for going forward. So again, I don't buy the excuse that you're too old. I've got clients that are as young as 12, and I've got clients that are over 80. So it's just a matter of deciding whether you want to start or not. So no excuses there. Move on. Number 6, what if I fail, or what if I lose? Yeah, look at, that's a risk and a reality that everybody has to deal with almost every day. What if I get up this morning and I get hit by a bus? Like, is that a reality that I'm going to fear? No. you need confidence, and again, I'm going to make the assumption that you're not jumping into any business or you're not bringing any product to market. There is an evaluation process that you're going to try and eliminate as much of that risk as possible. You want to bring something to the market that solves a problem, right? So if it's solving a problem and a need in a market, or a solution for a way to do something, obviously that's the first trick to, or that's the first catch to bringing a product to market. If you're doing something that other people don't like to do, then obviously you should get paid for it. So there's a way that you can also evaluate what business you should start. But mostly, you start off safely. You take your time. Try and get to sales as quick as you can, because once you have sales, and that's our philosophy, once you have sales, you have revenue coming in, you can then determine whether or not you want to increase sales and keep growing it, or you might need to pivot at that point to say, okay, at least I know where I'm finding customers and I'm getting revenue and they're buying something from me. If they're doing that in volume, then just keep going. You got it right. If you need to adjust or add more products or add more services, then that's a decision you guys, you and your team or whoever you've got will make. But to go in with the fear of losing, it's a natural fear, but it's one that there's really not much to lose except the possibility of losing the opportunity to do it. That's as far as, it's the simplest way I can say it and look at it. Now, some people might say that's crazy, you can't do that. I disagree. You look at everybody that has been successful, that runs a business, that is, on videos like this explaining how to do it, they all overcame their fear of losing and understood that it is a risk, but you don't let that stop you from doing it. And there's days where that risk might be very, very prevalent and real, but you find ways to overcome that. And that's because you want to survive. You don't want to die in business, but fear of losing is not the way to go into it. No one goes into a Game 7 Stanley Cup championship thinking they're going to lose that game. Nobody. And if they do, they shouldn't be playing. So if you can't overcome your fear, I agree. Don't do this, but it's not an excuse not to do it. Number 7. This is the one that surprises me a lot, that everyone is just too busy in their life and their style and they just get hung up on things that don't necessarily always matter. And if you've got a passion to do something or bring an idea to market or start a business, you make the time. It's just like everything else. Eventually, yes, businesses do consume a lot of your time to get started. The goal of any business is so that the business runs itself so you don't have to anymore. And again, that's the focus. If you're a person that values their lifestyle, you just have to really decide, do I need to interrupt my lifestyle for temporary purposes so I can live in a better lifestyle than what I thought I could do earlier because I've got this business in place? And that's really the key there, is that you're never too busy to do something. You just have to decide to find the time, and you probably really need to figure out that benefit is worth it. If you're sitting comfortably, just remember, doing nothing in 10 years from now, when you should have done something and you don't have enough money to live the way you want anymore, it's hard to go backwards, right? Time is not on your side. But even then, it's never too late, because number 8 is about, well, it's going to take too long. Everything that's good takes a long time. Nothing comes easy. There is no shortcuts. There's no way around actually doing the hard work. You've got to get your hands dirty. And so, yeah, it does take a little bit, and it does take patience. But again, if you understand that, you don't have to stress about it. If you're building a side hustle and you desperately want it to be your main gig, don't quit your day job. Keep your day job and let that side hustle become its own thing until it can support your full income needs. Or just appreciate that there's an ability to sell products online day in, day out without having to manage it full time, so that you do have that extra $5,000-$6,000 a month in your disposable income, or that, if you really strike it rich, that you've got a product that you can support an entire family on and leave a legacy business behind. So taking too long, it should take long. It should take a long time, because businesses that take a long time also last a long time. Number 9, there's too much to learn and I don't want to learn. Okay, I'll give you that one. If you don't want to do something, you should not go into a business. Going into a business every day means that you have to learn every day. You grow every day as a person. You grow every day to grow as a person, to grow your business as a business. This is, imagine, when Facebook and YouTube started, imagine this, it's 2008, 2009 when it started emerging. If you took the time to learn that for personal uses, well, what's different about learning to use those as business uses? It's really not much different. It's just your mindset. When you're wasting time on social media is learning all about TikTok and doing silly dances, well, you could be learning just as much about how to promote a business on TikTok where actually you get paid to do it. So the amount of hours that you watch social media or on social media are those hours that you could be the one putting on social media to grow and build a business. So, there's a lot of things to learn. If you don't learn, if you don't adapt, you die. That's just the way it is. And so, again, I agree with you. If that's your excuse, that's probably the biggest excuse. If you don't want to learn, I would not recommend that you try and start a business, because that is like just, you got to learn. You got to learn every day. How I'm going to put you off camera, but how long did it take you to learn what you learned about setting up cameras and podcasts?
A couple of days.
Yeah, a couple of days. Right here, right now, he's learned from from Brennan, who's our other videographer, to get this set up so that we can do more of these, because Brennan's busy filming and doing videos for our clients. So, everybody has to learn. And now when you learn it, is it easy? No. But is it a skill in your portfolio?
Yes.
Absolutely, right? So there you go. All right. Number 10. I call this the accountant's nightmare. The reason why accountants never turn into entrepreneurs is simply because they want to know all the details before they get started. They want to know that it's going to be successful before it gets started. They want to know what are the numbers before it gets started. Anybody that shows you numbers before they understand their sales path and their the actuals that are happening are complete bullshit. In today's world, you get to sales, you get to market, and you need to know that there's the only risk in not knowing how to get there is because you have to figure it out. You got to figure out whose doors you're going to knock on. You're going to have to figure out which platform works for you. You are going to have to figure out how to get your revenue stream. Nobody is going to figure that out for you. However, there's a lot of people that have already figured it out. So there's plenty of people that you can learn from, that you can watch, that you can emulate, that you can ask questions to. There's a lot of people that have gone first. And so, when you want to know too many details, there's no expert in the world that's going to be able to be available to you, because that expert is actually the person doing it themselves. And in that case, you've just got to follow them. But having that excuse that, you want to know everything up front, you just can't. Starting a business is about getting an idea to market. There's a lot of unknowns in front of you, but those unknowns are easily overcome. And if they're not, you pivot around them. Use your abilities to the best that you can, and you'll be successful. It's just that simple. So again, those are the top 10 reasons why people don't start a business. We encourage that everybody starts an idea. We actually encourage you to start a product idea. Everybody has that one idea on something that they've got in their kitchen, their bathroom, their garage, or in day-to-day use that they could use that make their lives better. Right? There's prototypes sitting out there that need to get brought to market, and these are the people I want to make sure that you understand that you can call us, and we're those guys that can help you get those ideas from napkin through the design process, through manufacturing, and to revenue. And we'd love to talk to you. Again, that's the show today. Appreciate your time. As always, you guys are fantastic. If you wouldn't mind, please share us, like us, follow us, do all those nice things so that we can get the word out and more people know about us. And hopefully you found this very educational, and I appreciate your time. Have a great day.
Thank you.